1970s was a weird time in entertainment because many times we would judge a actor or actress's popularity on their physical attributes. Now, for a lot of people, the series Maude, which was a spin-off of All in the Family, brought in Carol, who played Maude's daughter in the show. Now, the actress who played Carol, boys, oh boys, she left a presence, and that's why a lot of men started watching the show. A beautiful lady, built like a brick shithouse, and eventually became, get this, the thinking man's scream queen because of her connection with John Carpenter as a husband and a producer and a director. So today we're going to be talking about the multi-talented and multifaceted Adrienne Barbeau. Now, if you're easily offended by any possibility of reference to nudity or physical appearance, please don't listen to the rest of the podcast, because she was, again, a scream queen, but she was a sex symbol for many years, despite the fact she wasn't your traditional looking sex symbol. Although she had a great body, she didn't really come to mind until people saw her the first time and basically said, wow, she really literally stands out. And we're going to talk a little bit about her career, and the fact was she became an author, she became a reviewer, she became a soap opera star, she was a voice actress, she did all kind of stuff. She had a big comedy cameo in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, we all remember that. But her horror movies are going to be predominantly what we're talking about in this podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you're of French-Canadian descent or Quebecois descent, you're a a hard-working person, and she was one of the hardest-working actresses in show business. Now, Adrienne Barbeau was born in Sacramento, California. She's an actress, singer, and author of 3 books. She came to major prominence in the 1970s at Broadway's original Rizzo in the musical Grease, and as Carol Traynor, divorced daughter of Maude, again Finley, on the sitcom Maude, which she appeared on for 6 years. Now, she became a scream queen in 1980 when she began appearing in horror and science fiction films, including The Fog, Escape from New York, Creepshow, and the very underrated Swamp Thing. Other films included at the time Back to School, and later on in the Oscar-winning movie Argo. Now, during the 1980s, she was the voice of Catwoman on Batman the Animated Series for a number of years, and subsequent Batman cartoon series. In the 2000s, she appeared on the HBO series Carnivale as Ruthie the Snake Dancer. Now, again, born in Sacramento, the daughter of Armen Nalbadian and Joseph Barbeau, who was a public relations executive for Mobile Oil. Her mother was of Armenian descent, and her father's ancestry was French-Canadian, Irish, and German. She has a sister, Jocelyn, and a half-brother on her father's side, Robert Barbeau, who still resides in Sacramento. She eventually attended Del Mar High School in San Jose. In her autobiography, Barbeau says that she first caught the show business bug while entertaining troops on army bases throughout Southeast Asia, touring with the San Jose Civic Light Opera. Now, in the late 1960s, Barbeau moved to New York City and worked for the mob as a go-go dancer. Now, if you've ever seen her dance, you know she can dance. She eventually made her Broadway debut in the chorus of Fiddler on the Roof, and later took the role of Hodel, Teve's daughter. Now, Bette Midler played her character's sister, and that's where the connection with most of the major stars of Hollywood really comes forth. She left Fiddler in 1971 to play the leading role of Cookie Kovac in the off-Broadway nudie musical Stag Movie. Barbeau as Cookie and Brad Sullivan as Ripcord were quite jolly and deserved to be congratulated on the lack of embarrassment the show when, on occasion, they have to wander around stark naked. They may not be sexy, but they certainly keep cheerful. Now, wrote the New York Times theater critic Clive Barnes in an otherwise negative review. Now, Barbeau, again, built like you wouldn't believe, but just like Lee Curtis, her body was perfect, but she wasn't really that sexy. What you saw is what you got, but I mean, very impressive physical form for a woman. And she wasn't really typecast for her nudity because it was Adrienne Barbeau that shone through even when naked. Her talent and her impressive onstage style. Barbeau went on to star in more than 25 musicals and plays, including Women Behind Bars, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and of course Grease. She received a Theatre World Award and a 1972 Tony Award nomination for a portrayal of tough girl Rizzo in Grease. Now, Stockard Channing was cast for the movie, and evidently she can't act as good as Adrienne Barbeau as Rizzo. Don't disrespect Stockard Channing. She's more dramatic, not dramatic comedic. Now, during the 1970s, she got her big break. She starred as Carol Trainer, the feminist daughter of B. Arthur's title character, on Maude, which ran from 72 to 78. Now, actress Marcia Rod had originated the role of Carol in a 72 episode of All in the Family, also titled Maude, alongside Arthur. Now, what Barbeau portrayed was a kind of a new generation feminist, not like Maude, middle-aged feminist. She was a very strong character. She stood out in the lines that were presented, but to me, she wasn't given enough to do in the show until later on. Now, in her autobiography, There Are Worse Things I Could Do, she said the same thing, remarked, "What I did know is that when I said my lines, I was usually walking down a flight of stairs, and no one was even listening to me. They were just watching my breasts precede me." During the last season of Maude, Barbeau did not appear in the majority of the episodes. In a 2009 Entertainment Tonight TV interview, she mentioned that she had good on and off camera chemistry with Arthur, and she said that the two stayed close until Arthur's death on April 25, 2009. Barbeau and Arthur reunited on camera during a 2007 taping of The View, reminiscing about their long-running friendship and their years as co-stars on Maude. Now, in a 2018 interview with Dread Central, she noted, "I loved her dearly. We had a great cast, and they were my family for 6 years. I loved each of them and all of them. It was the best experience anyone could have had, being introduced to television like that." Now, I don't know if I'd say she was quiet, talking about B. Arthur. She was a homebody. She had her sons, her dog, and her cooking, and she wasn't into the celebrity scene. She was a great lady. Now, Barbeau was not as well in the celebrity scene. I don't remember any scandals involving her at all, unless wasn't reading the right publications. Now, after her appearances on Maude, she became more of a TV icon. She wasn't appearing in big films at the time. She was cast in numerous television films and series such as The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Valentine Magic on Love Island, and Battle of Network Stars. In her autobiography, she also claimed, "I actually thought CBS asked me to be on Battle of the Network Stars because he thought I was athletic. My husband clued me in and said, who cared if I won the race as long as I bounced when I ran?" Again, self-deprecating humor, but we knew she had a great body, but that wasn't really why we're watching, because it was Adrienne Barbeau. She was the thinking man sex symbol, as we say. Now, the popularity of one of Barbeau's 1978 cheesecake posters confirmed her status as a sex symbol to some. Barbeau's popularity stemmed partly from what critic Joe Bob Briggs referred to as the two enormous talents on that woman, and her typecasting as a tough broad. Despite her initial success, she said at the time she thought of Hollywood as a flesh market, and that she would rather appear in films that explore the human condition and deal with issues. Now, this is where her career really changed. She disappeared pretty well from TV in a major way. Then she hooked up with Barbeau's then husband, director John Carpenter, for a number of movies, including the classic horror film The Fog in 1980, which was her film debut. Can you imagine? The film was released on February 1st, 1980, and was a big theatrical success, grossing over $21 million in the United States alone. Freaked out everybody at the drive-in back then, because most drive-ins had fog at dusk. And it then established Barbeau as a scream queen film star. She subsequently appeared in a number of early 1980s horror and science fiction films, a number of which have now become cult classics, including Escape from New York, also from Carpenter, Creepshow, where her character came to a very abrupt end, and the underrated classic Swamp Thing. Of her screen work with Carpenter, Barbeau has stated, "John is a great director. He knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. It's simple and it's easy working with him." Now, she also appeared in the high-grossing Burt Reynolds comedy Cannonball Run, and as the shrewish wife of Rodney Dangerfield's character in Back to School, 1986. This is going to cost you. Have you ever seen the first 10 minutes of Back to School? What's with the midget? hasn't even been seen to believe. And she plays the straight lady of Rodney Dangerfield's character. Now, Barbeau also starred alongside future talk show host Bill Maher and actress and model Shannon Tweed in the adeptly named Cannibal Woman in the Avocado Jungle of Death in 1989. Haven't seen the movie and possibly never will. Now, in the 1990s, she mostly appeared in made-for-television films such as Scott Turo's The Burden of Proof, as well as playing Oswald's mother on The Drew Carey Show, and gaining new fame among animated fans as Catwoman on Batman, the animated series, and of course, Gotham Girls. She also worked as a television talk show host and a weekly book reviewer for KBC Talk Radio in LA. In 1999, she went back to science fiction by guest starring in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Inter Arma Enum Silent Leges as Romulan Senator Kamara Kritak. In 1998, Barbeau released her long-anticipated debut album as a folk singer, the self-titled Adrienne Barbeau. She also starred in the cartoon series Totally Spies, doing the voice of villainess Helga von Guden in seasons 1, 2, and 4. Now, from 2003 to 2005, she was on Carnivale, and from March to May 2006, she portrayed Judy Garland in the off-Broadway play, the property known as Garland. Now, Barbeau returned to the horror genre with a cameo role in Rob Zombie's Halloween, a reimagining of the 1978 film of the same name, written and directed by her first husband, John Carpenter. Her scene was cut from the theatrical version of the film, but is included in the DVD version. Now, in 2009, Barbeau was cast as the cat lady in the family comedy The Dog Who Saved Christmas, as Scooter's mom in the 3D animated feature Fly Me to the Moon, and in a hospice patient in the love story Reach for Me. Also in 2009, Barbeau had guest spots in the first episode of Showtime's hit series Dexter Season 4. Now, she also voiced the Greek goddess Hera in the video game God of War 3, released for PlayStation 3 in March 2010. Now, in August 2010, she ended up on a small screen again by playing a role on a long-running ABC daytime drama, General Hospital. Now, in 2012, she voiced UNSC scientist Dr. Tilson in the highly anticipated game Halo 4, released on the Xbox 360 in November of 2012. She voiced characters as well in the 2015 Mad Max video game. Now, his appearance in Argo really stood out because it was Adrienne Barbeau in something that probably she would have appeared of. It was a real movie. She played the former wife of Alan Arkin's character. Now, Barbeau eventually reprised her role as Catwoman in the animated remake of the third trailer for The Dark Knight Rises. The trailer was made to both celebrate the upcoming movie as well as to promote Hub's 10-episode marathon of Batman the Animated Series. Now, in 2015, she assumed the role of Bertha and Pepin with the Broadway touring company of the renowned musical. Now, talking about her link with John Carpenter. She was married to John Carpenter from January 1st, 1979 to 1984. The two met on the set of his television movie, Someone's Watching Me in 1978. The couple had a son, John Cody Carpenter, born May 7th, 1984, shortly before they separated. During their marriage, the couple lived in the Hollywood Hills, but according to Barbeau, remained totally outside Hollywood's social circles. Now, Barbeau married actor, playwright, producer Billy Van Sant, 12 years her junior, on December 31st, 1992. The two had met in 1991, where Barbeau was cast in the West Coast premiere of his play Drop Dead. Now, Van Sant is the half-brother of musician-actor Steve Van Sant. With him, with her Billy, she gave birth to twin boys, Walker Stephen and William Dalton Van Zandt, on March 17, 1997, at age 51, noting that she was the only one on the maternity ward who was also a member of the AARP. The couple filed for divorce in 2018. Now, key movies for her was, of course, The Fog, Escape from New York, Cannonball Run, Swamp Thing, The Thing, Creep Show, Tyranny Owls, Back to School, Cannibal Woman in the Avocado Jungle of Death, Fatherhood as well. She also played a voice in Demolition Man as the mainframe computer. She was in Judge Dredd again as a voice, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. She played the Halloween redo in 2007, Reach for Me in 2008, Argo 2012, and of course Hellblazers upcoming as Georgia in 2022 Now, underrated performances on TV, the great Houdini the TV movie in '76, Julie Farr, MD. She also played on It Is Enough, Quincy, The Love Boat, Crash, two Fantasy Islands, two different characters. The Charlie and the Great Balloon Chase, very underrated movie. Fantasy Island, Hotel, Murder, She Wrote, Bridge Across Time. She played teacher's aide, Miss Peters, in the revival of Twilight Zone in '85, another Hotel in '86, another Murder, She Wrote in '87. Then she played in Sylvia and Burden of Proof, very underrated movie. She was on Dream On, Batman the Animated Series, ABC Weekend Special, George Carlin Show, very underrated series. She was on Babylon 5, The Flipper, The Wayans Brothers, Weird Science, The New Batman Adventures, Sliders, Diagnosis Murder, Angry Beavers, the new version of Love Boat, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Batman Beyond. She played herself in Sabrina in 2001, Carnivale in 2003 to 2005, and Grey's Anatomy 2009, the full season of General Hospital, Sons of Anarchy in 2013, another Swamp Thing, the regular series in 2009, Back to Creep Show episode in 2019, American Horror Stories in 2021, and Cowboy Bebop. She played Marie Murdoch. Now, her biggest nomination, of course, was '77, where she got a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress nomination for the second to last season of Maude. Now, she's been recognized with nominations and awards by Fangoria over the years, and she's also won the Chicago Horror Film Festival Award for Alice Jacobs Is Dead in 2010. Now, Adrienne Barbeau, I know it's kind of weird. You look at the overall sex symbols and scream queens in combination, but she was much more than that. But a lot of people who were watching the show had no idea there was nude photos of her, like they really looked at her because she had a nice body. People weren't watching Maude sometimes for the show, it was for her. But like my dad once said, how can you not know she was once naked? She's put that in the past. I would suspect they probably offered her a shitload of money to appear nude in a nudie magazine. She said no. Because Adrienne Barbeau, she was a very, very cerebral type of person. And like I said, when we saw her in these horror movies, we said, oh, that's John Carpenter's muse. We never looked at her like as, the beautiful and well-built Adrienne Barbeau, right? It was there, but we saw past that, like Jamie Lee Curtis. We've seen the nudity, but she can really back up the acting. We don't have to see her or think of her as a nude person just to really appreciate her beauty. She was a very, very strong actor and a very distinct voice. You look at DC Legends of Tomorrow, the female voice that's used for the show. I am sure that's a ripoff of Adrienne Barbeau's vocal stylings of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I can almost guarantee it. And it's too bad she's never been approached to do a superhero movie. She could play like a younger version of a major character or the mother of a major character. It doesn't have to be Sally Field and Diane Lane all the time. Adrienne Barbeau could play Superman's mother, or like an Earth 2 mother, or Batman's not dead aunt or something like that. Make a character for her. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, it's the latest of our remote control Sheen Screenshots double podcast. Please let us know what you're thinking. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget, if you're an Adrienne Barbeau fan, welcome to the club. There's millions worldwide, but a very, very interesting Canadian talk show host got her mixed up with Jennifer O'Neill once, and the other host said, well, Adrienne Barbeau is 5 inches shorter and much better looking and better built. Oh, sorry. If you're confusing Jennifer O'Neill with Adrienne Barbeau, good luck with that. Because when she entered, she made a presence. Thanks for listening. Bye.